Uh, we've talked about a lot of topics so far. We talked about Tank versus Ryan at the beginning. We talked about Figueroa, Maxeyo, Jared Swift Hurd. We talked about David Benavidez, Caleb Plant, Fulton versus Inoue, Harrison versus Zoo, Jake Paul versus Tommy Fury. That rematch is supposed to be happening in, the rumors are, in July or so, and it's being said that that pay-per-view did about 775,000 pay-per-view buys. We don't know if that's global or just here in the States, but Tommy Fury did win, in my opinion. Didn't get a chance to talk about that live. We are going to now move on to my man Conor Benn, who was in deep negotiations to fight Manny Pacquiao in Dubai. No, excuse me, Abu Dhabi, not Dubai. Abu Dhabi. So what I'm going to do here is, I got some timestamps here. And if you don't know, Conor Benn last week sat down with the controversial Piers Morgan, and he was grilled about being failing to test for, I forgot the name of this drug. The WBC is saying it could have happened from eggs. Right now, Conor Benn can't fight in the UK. And it's looking like he doesn't want to clear his name in the UK, which is a big red flag. So let's start here. I got this first timestamp here. And we got 4 timestamps in total. Let's start right here. Take your time out. Like the video, subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at T Street Controversy or Terrell Van. All the links to my social media are down below in the description box, as well as the show notes. Let's start right here.
In a strange position of, you're in a kind of mid position right now, because the WBC have come back and they have said that they think there may have been reasons why you had this in your body, but they have made a presumption it was in your body. You don't even accept that.
I don't accept that.
So when they say you may have taken, and it got a lot of attention, this, and some mockery,
yeah.
But when they said it may have been a highly elevated consumption of eggs, could have created this positive testing.
Is it me? So I like my eggs over medium. You know, I eat my eggs runny. I don't like my eggs. I like them runny, or I like them scrambled and fluffy. By the way, another thing I don't like is I don't like milk in my eggs. So I know if I eat too many eggs, for example, I won't eat eggs if I'm going on a road trip or if I'm going to be driving. I eat organic pastured eggs. Just any organic eggs. My eggs cost like $7, a box. But anyway, what I'm trying to make is eggs fuck up my stomach. You see what I'm saying? And the WBC is saying like, yo, in order for this shit to have been in his system, he had to be eating like a lot of motherfucking eggs. Now, is a lot of eggs like doing the whole Rocky thing where you take 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 eggs and you down them joints in a glass? Is he doing that shit every day? But Conor Benn is saying it's not from the eggs. The WBC tried to scapegoat him or provide a scapegoat and be like, look, maybe it's from the motherfucking eggs. But listen to this again. Let's go back. And I'm going to let it play through. And we're going to dissect this shit.
Have come back and they have said that they think there may have been reasons why you had this in your body, but they have made a presumption it was in your body. You don't even accept that.
I don't accept that.
So when they say you may have taken, and it got a lot of attention, this, and some mockery,
yeah.
But when they said it may have been a highly elevated consumption of eggs, could have created this positive testing, you don't even accept that.
I don't accept that, no. The WBC, while I was me and my team were on the phone to them on a Zoom call, they had come out and said that one of their scientists are currently dealing with 2 cyclists who have tested positive for clomiphene traces, and they can prove it's in the embryos and the eggs. I'm not willing to accept it because the 270-page report that I sent over to them, my team sent over to them, had nothing to do with eggs. It had everything to do with my testing negative 3 times, and 9 days later testing positive.
They didn't conclude they found anything wrong with the testing. what they did say, they said there was no conclusive evidence that Mr. Benn engaged in intentional or knowing ingestion of clomiphene.
I don't believe it was there in the first place. You got to remember, I don't even know what this thing is. Coincidentally, for my first VADA test, coincidentally for the biggest fight of my career, there's a substance in my body that I haven't even heard of.
The reality is this particular drug, which is becoming more prevalent in sport, and no one's quite sure why, but it can, as I said, boost testosterone levels by 50%. It can reduce body fat. So it clearly would have tangible benefits on an athlete. I mean, it would. Whoever the athlete is, it would help. If someone was doing it deliberately, it would help.
Well, definitely. But what the WBC is saying is even the peak of it in my system is still only a trace.
Why don't you give this dossier, 270 pages of it, why don't you give it to the British Boxing Board of Control? Because they're ultimately the ones that can sanction or not sanction your right to fight in this country.
My dad tore up his British boxing licence on TV in the 80s. You know, the board ain't going to stop me from fighting. They can't stop me from fighting.
Well, they can stop you having a professional fight in this country.
In this country, and that's fine, so be it.
Is that fine?
They filed 7 misconduct charges against me. One of them was they wanted, because we wanted the fight to go ahead. The second one was because we didn't tell Eubank immediately. And on the Monday they said, we're upholding all charges. I thought you lot can do one. You think I'm going to sit here and take this?
But if you have what they've said is, well, show us the evidence.
But I couldn't care less.
You've got 270 pages of apparent evidence. Surely the smart thing to do, whatever your views of the Board of Control, they are the governing body. Surely you should just give them your evidence. Let them respond.
That's down to my legal team. You know,
well, what would stop you? I don't understand what stops you.
My pride, the way they've dealt with this,
Pride won't get you through this.
But the board, I don't have to be licensed by the board. That's my views on it.
You do the fight in Britain.
I don't plan on fighting in Britain anytime soon.
Just put it all on the internet.
I want to. I want to. Trust me.
What's stopping you?
The ongoing legal cases. That's the only reason.
You seem to look. This is your career, your livelihood. This is everything at stake here, isn't it?
No, I agree.
Everything's on the line.
I agree, and this is what I keep trying to tell my lawyers, but you can't do this, you can't do that. Mate, this would have been public. I've known what I've known since December, and I've kept quiet, everyone firing, everyone attacking me, and I've known what I've known since December. And I'm sitting here again going, well, why can't we just release the information? Why can't the public just know what's actually gone on?
Because the public, you know, from what I looked at it today, social media, is savage. They've convicted you. They think you're guilty.
And I'm going to have to deal with that, I think. I think public have made up their mind.
How are you going to deal with that?
There will be...
Because Eddie Hearn, your promoter, says, look, it's time you've got to move on, you've got to progress. What do you think when he says that?
Well, I don't think I think the public have made up their mind already. Irrelevant of what's presented, irrelevant of what the board say. I've got strong DNA and I'm one hell of a fighter, naturally. I work hard, I've made loads of sacrifices and I'm willing to do what other people aren't willing to do.
Here's the thing. He said with what's been presented, he ain't present nothing. So apparently, he's got this 270-page manifesto dossier. 270 pages is a lot. And he's not trying to give it to the British Boxing Board of Control or UK Anti-Doping, UCOD. So it's like you got all this information you saying it can clear you, but then you don't want to give it to nobody? Or he was talking about how, you know, mental health, you know, that he didn't want to be here no more. He was thinking he wasn't going to make it. And it's like, you saying you got this information, your name is being dragged through the mud in the court of public opinion. The court of public opinion is a motherfucker. I would rather be guilty in a court of law before the court of public opinion, because they will eat your ass up. I'm telling you, like, public opinion is a motherfucker. And right now, I was watching this interview and it had to be about like 7, 8 in the morning. You know, I'm cooking my breakfast. I had I posted it on my Twitter. I had some eggs. Here, I'll post it for you. You guys can see it. You guys are cool. You guys are my mates. This is what I ate this morning. So I had some eggs. And I was thinking like, I wonder what Conor Benn is up to. This what actually triggered me, like triggered my thoughts. This what got me off to produce this content. I was like, you know what? By the way, I overcooked it. I was kind of pissed off. But anyway, I was like, you know what? I wonder what Conor Benn's up to as I was sitting there eating my organic pastured eggs. So I was like, thinking to myself, like, okay, like you keep saying you can clear your name, but you won't do it. And then you're saying, like, you're a UK fighter saying that, you know what, the hell with the UK, I don't got to fight here. It's like, what? And then to make it even worse, he's insinuating or basically saying he's going to sue the British Boxing Board of Control. Oh, I would love for him to do that. They're going to eat his ass alive. So before we get to this other timestamp here, let's go back. And I like how Piers Morgan was grilling him. It's like, yo, you seen you got all this information, then why won't you release the shit? Like, we tired of hearing your mouth.
6 years old. I didn't even know what this thing was at the time. Yeah, so I'm 26. So when people are saying that I may have needed a testosterone booster, I'm 26 years old. I didn't even know what this thing was at the time. So for me, I thought, okay, it may have been, an error or an accident somewhere. We can find out what's happened. And then when I found out that, there'd been a second adverse finding was when I was like, okay, now something's actually wrong. There's something wrong here. And
what are you feeling inside yourself at that point?
Who's done this to me? I genuinely looked around and I thought it was the hardest part of this whole period. Of everything I've been through, this was the hard part, was because I was looking around and thinking, okay, I'm actively taking it. It's actively in something, or something's happened. It's definitely there. And these were the thoughts that were going on through my head. Who's done this?
Do you accept this was in your body?
I don't accept it was in my body, not at all. Based on independent scientists looking at the reports, based on my own scientists looking at the reports, and what we found. People say you may have paid for the best legal team. Damn right I paid for the best legal team. Damn right I paid for the best scientists. My career's on the line. My image is on the line. My name is on the line. And I can't be known for this. And it was more so me employing the best people to find out what had actually happened.
What do you think of people who cheat in sport?
It should be banned for life, especially in contact sport.
It should be banned for life?
Yeah, banned for life. There's no room for it. There's been a fighter today who's just had a brain hemorrhage. There's no room for it. I know firsthand the damage it does from my dad with Gerald McLennan, from Michael Watson.
I was there ringside of that fight. I mean, both men got taken to hospital, both nearly died.
And you think I do it, and people think I do this.
You know what he's saying? A whole bunch of nothing. Do you hear anything that's like, yo, you know what? That fucking makes sense. Like, I was thinking when I was watching the interview, and I've watched it about 3 different times. No, about 2.5 times. And I was thinking, like, he don't make no sense. He's saying a bunch of nothing. And before we go on to what really pisses me off about the whole situation, we got one more timestamp here for you. It's at the end where he was talking about suing the board. And it's like, oh, you really want to go, huh?
Of the governing body that can actually look at this properly.
It's hard because I want this to be done. I want this to be finished and I want to resume with my career. Should I just sit back and accept the fact that
Are you going to sue the board?
No, of course. I'll be suing the board.
When?
Let me show you this. I'm going to let this play through. Why it looked like Piers caught him off guard and he really didn't have no plans on suing the board. And Piers said that shit and he just gave like a response. I don't think he really wanted to sue the board or he thought that was going to be asked to him because look at his body language. He was like he was caught off guard, like, yeah, I'm gonna sue the motherfuckers. God damn it. I'm tired of this shit. Watch this.
I want this to be done. I want this to be finished and I want to resume with my career. Should I just sit back and accept the fact that
Are you going to sue the board?
No, of course. I'll be suing the board.
When?
When it will be soon now. My legal team will be in touch. Would you mean when? As soon as
For how much
possible.
money, do you know?
For the full loss of earnings, damaged reputation.
How much is
because
that?
Because the board shouldn't recognise VADA.
Let me ask you this. Let's assume for a moment your theory is right. It's a theory. It's not proven scientifically yet and hasn't been ratified by any governing body. But if your theory is right, it was contaminated, it would prompt the question, well, why? Who would want to do that?
It would be the only way it would be contamission if it is.
In whose interest is it to ruin this great fight?
I'm not saying it was deliberate. What, in the lab? I'm not saying it was deliberate. It may be an error in the testing. I'm not saying deliberately. I'm not saying that anyone's in the labs deliberately done this. I'm not saying that at all, but it may be an accident. It may be an error.
There are millions and millions of pounds at stake here, dollars, wherever you decide.
Does this all sound, from what I've said about the testing, manipulation, manufacturing, concealing evidence, from what I'm saying to you, does that sound...
Listen, you sound like you have a welter of information, but I cannot for the life of me understand why you wouldn't then give it to the governing body. It's down to them whether you fight in this country again.
Yeah,
I don't understand that. That to me makes no sense.
Because I can get a licence elsewhere.
What does Eddie? I mean, I've got a lot of time for Eddie Hearn. I think he's a brilliant promoter, and he cares about his fighters. He wants you to try and move on from this. That's his advice, right? What have you said to him about that?
You know, so he's not saying his eggs. The WBC saying, hey, this motherfucker had to eat a whole lot of eggs. Like, you know, he could be just eating eggs all day. Fucking eggs in the morning, egg foo young for lunch, maybe some type of fancy type of, what do you call them? Dinner quiche with some chicken in it or something. And there's got to be some potent ass eggs with some chloroform, whatever that shit's called. But he's saying it's not eggs. He's claiming that it's in the lab. It was some type of contamination. You know, I'm not saying that it's, you know, two different tests. Listen, I'm not a scientist. All I'm saying is, what do you have these 270 pages for that you're saying, like, look, like, this can clear me? Egg salad sandwich, there you go. Like, you got this information that it can clear you, and you're not trying to release the shit. Ain't nobody trying to hear that shit. Like, no. So therefore, he did this whole 21-minute interview with Piers Morgan, and look, they pull poor old Nigel in it. He's like, look, it's my son. I would never think that he would do something like that. I was in the camp with him. It's impossible.
Like, if you've gone to all this trouble...
And my son, he knows that if he brought this into the camp, that I would tell him, don't bring that shit up in here.
To draw up this massive dossier of evidence, and the British Boxing Board is asking for it, I don't understand how it can be anything but bad for your case if you don't hand it over. I mean, at very least, call their bluff. Say, right, here you are. Get them to respond to it. I don't know why, if I was in your position, that's what I would do. You're like your father, you are your own man, right? You are. And if you wanted to, you could put this out there tonight.
Yeah. I still don't think that proves my innocence at all. I've just been cleared by the organisation which the testing which I failed.
The WBC is not the WBC is a sanctioning body. They're a sanctioning body, a belt. They are not the governing body of the sport in the state, country that you're in. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. They don't have no authority. Like I said, this interview may have done him worse, because from what I'm reading from it, it's done him worse. He ain't doing, like, you know, people like, yeah, okay, buddy. Sure, pal. Mr. Eggs Benedict. What else? What else? By the way, thanks for watching. Please take your time out. Like the video. Subscribe. He's got this. What do you have this dossier for? What do you have it for? You paid people to write this dossier up, to do all this research. I don't think he got the motherfucker. I don't think he got it. I don't think he got the dossier. I think it's bullshit. What? I'm on my weight loss journey. I want some, I want all of that shit. Because remember, I'm not an athlete. Give me some of that Billy Joe Saunders nasal spray. What does that do again? Don't it make you like faster and lose? Give me some of that Oscar Valdez, ancient herbal Chinese phentamine tea. Give me some of that. Oh, definitely. I want some street tacos. I don't know what those do, but what? Give me some of that. And I eat eggs almost every day. You know, so that's probably why, you know, it's been assisting with my weight loss. You know. So I want all that shit. No needles, though. I don't want no needles. I still, I'm 39 years old and I still don't like needles. I don't want no needles.